about the Afro-American movement as a pop cultural theme. As we already have acquainted ourselves with in the seminars about the Afro-American movement, Black writers, musicians, thinkers, and leaders like the novelist Toni Morrison, the author James Baldwin, and the leader of the Black movement, Malcolm X, had all inspired the Black movement and fought hard to reinforce the rights of and to claim freedom and equality for Afro-Americans who suffer the harshest of conditions under the rule of slavery and an inhumane discrimination, as well as an exclusion of the civic rights, which had been ongoing for centuries by then. I Too, a poem by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. I have a dream. The famous statement pronounced boldly by the Black movement leader Martin Luther King became the new interpretation of the American dream. A dream of making justice and equality amongst the American people, regardless of race or color, a reality. Since then, the Afro-American rights have gone far. Sadly, 57 years later, this dream becomes once more far from fulfilled when an innocent black citizen is unlawfully killed by the white American police. He was brutally suffocated to death despite pleading of not being able to breathe. George Floyd passed away, but the police refused to budge off his neck. George Floyd was killed under the public eyes and the recording cameras. In such tragedies, the President of the United States of America should have condemned this murder publicly to prevent similar future violent acts committed by the police. However, none of this had taken place, which added to the tearing up of the American dream by a series of violent riots to protest police brutality toward Black Americans. I read this thought-triggering article as part of the content in the seminars surrounding politics of the Afro-American movement, and pinpoints how politics underpins the systematic racism that corrupts the American judicial, political, and social fabric. This article mainly highlights the struggle that keeps blowing up to the surface due to discriminatory politics, which has been aggravated even more during the presidency of Trump. The elections are taking place in 2 months from now, and the question is, will President Trump be re-elected? Now, 3 months down the line, another unarmed and seemingly harmless black man by the name of Jacob was shot 7 times in front of his 3 children. Unfortunately, the slogan that was raised in protest of George Floyd's murder, Black Lives Matter, did not have a long legacy. He miraculously survived, and in spite of being paralyzed now from his waist down, he is feet shackled whilst lying in hospital for further recuperation. It is worth mentioning that such detrimental police violence is never heard of being used with white people, whether they are being innocent or not. On the 28th of August, in D.C., Washington, Protests have taken place in order to condemn the Jacob shooting, the same day that Martin Luther King, 57 years ago, announced his famous statement. History is rewriting itself, and it seems like the new cultural content is being created for the future to describe the era of police shootings. Watch the following video that sums it all up.
There are two systems of justice in the United States. There's a white system and there's a black system. The black system ain't doing so well. But we're going to stand up. Every black person in the United States is going to stand up. We're tired. I'm tired of looking at cameras and seeing these young black and brown people suffer. We're going to hold court today. We're going to hold court on systematic racism. We're going to have court right now.